What's up, gentlemen? Today I'm going to show you how you can develop a strong, sturdy inner game, and we are going to get to that right now. Alright, so I talk a lot about beta males and alpha males, and of course the name of this series is Curve Your Beta. But a beta male isn't always someone who's super meek and shy, and an alpha male isn't always someone who is loud and boisterous. A beta male can be someone who hasn't dealt with what's going on inside and they lash out at others, not just someone who keeps everything inside and keeps it to himself. A perfect example of this is the character Louis Litt from the TV show Suits. You see, he has been beaten down and pushed down and bullied his whole life, always made to feel lesser, always made to feel like he isn't worthy, and that comes out in pure anger and tyranny at others. People who do care about him, people who try their best to look out for him, but he lashes out when things don't go his way, when he feels disrespected. As opposed to bringing it up in a confident, assertive manner, he goes and takes advantage of people, takes advantage of situations, and makes people feel like crap about themselves because that's the way that he feels on the inside. A character like Louis Litt definitely does not have a strong, sturdy inner game, much like that guy we see that we typically associate with beta males that are walking down the street and they're hunched over and they're shy and they're meek. And Louis Litt definitely is not meek or shy. He is loud and boisterous, but he definitely struggles with the inner game just like that other guy. And so the point of today's video and the point of today's episode of Curve Your Beta is for us to feel great, is for us to build up that inner game so we're not feeling like Louis Litt or the typical shy beta male, so we're not taking things out on other people, so that people look to us and respect us. And so inner game is how we feel on the inside, how we carry ourselves on the inside, so that we feel like fantastic, awesome alpha males wherever we go. This is a long process, but the first step to actually building up that inner game is to do away with resentment. So if we take it back to Louis Litt from Suits, he resents almost everyone around him, whether it's his boss, whether it's his friend, my man crush, Harvey Specter. It doesn't matter. He absolutely resents everyone around him, and he makes sure that he makes people feel like crap the way he feels about himself at any given moment that he possibly can. And so if we want to feel good about ourselves, if we want to build up what's inside, we got to stop feeling resentful of those around us. You see, the thing with resentment is the more that we hold it inside, the more that we blame others for our problems, and the more that we blame others for whatever happened to us in the past, is that it builds and it builds and it builds. And then either it comes out in anger and tyranny, or it crushes us down and it holds us down, and we don't have confidence in because we can't get over the things that happened to us, the things that are happening to us now, and the things that happened to us in the past. We're just sitting there resenting others for the things that they do, even if it's small little things. We resent others for the way that they treat us, even though we didn't do anything to stop them whatsoever. And so on that note, if we want to stop feeling resentful, we got to stop letting people walk all over us, take advantage of us. And that's the thing, when we let people take advantage of us and walk all over us, that is going to build the resentment up real quick, because we're not going to stand up for ourselves. We're not going to say, no, don't do that. That's not okay. That doesn't make me feel good. And we're just going to sit there in our heads and be like, man, I hate that person. Why do they always do this to me? Man, this person's so stupid. They're always doing this. They're always doing that. And that's going to come out. And that's going to come out in anger, not only at those people eventually, but in other situations in your life that you can't seem to explain whatsoever. It could come out in road rage. It could come out in anger at your partner who doesn't do anything to make you resent them. It could come out at your friend who doesn't do anything to make you resent them. But those other people that you are letting walk all over you, those are the ones that are building that resentment. And so you got to stand up to those people. And this doesn't mean be an asshole. This doesn't mean be a tyrant like Louis Litt. This means be assertive and be confident and be cool and collected. So for instance, you're at the grocery store and you're in line and someone cuts in front of you in line. Someone like Louis Litt would lash out and be like, you piece of crap, what are you doing? This is unacceptable. There's no way I will let you do this to me. And the meek and shy person will be like, oh yeah, I guess that's okay. I guess that's all right. Yeah, you must be in a hurry. That's okay. But someone who's calm and assertive and confident, has a strong inner game, is going to approach this situation like this. They're going to say, hey, I noticed that you budged in front of me there. Maybe you didn't notice that I was in line, but this is my spot in line. So maybe if you could just go on behind me there, that'd be great. We can get on with the day. That's kind of how you want to handle it, because You can't take these things personally because maybe that person's just a dick. Maybe that person didn't see you there. Maybe that person's having a bad day and just didn't notice. Like so many things could be going on for that person that you don't know. So there's no point in lashing out, and there's definitely no point in letting that person walk all over you. Just be calm, be assertive. And the next thing is stop doing things that truly make you unhappy. Stop going to the same job every day that you hate. Stop going back to the same relationship that keeps treating you poorly. Stop going back to the same friends who don't care about you, who don't respect you. Gentlemen, we gotta put ourselves number one in this life. And when we start putting ourselves number one, when we start caring about ourselves, taking care of ourselves, that's when we're gonna build up that inner game, that confidence, that fantastic feeling that we can walk around with and feel good about ourselves. Gentlemen, resentment is powerful, resentment is poisonous, and it will take over and it will cause us to either be meek and shy or loud and tyrannical. So we need to deal with these things as soon as possible and stop being resentful, and taking these steps is the first step in order to stop being resentful. Now, next up to building a strong inner game and feeling good about ourselves is to forgive those that have harmed us in the past. And this leads perfectly right up from the first point of not being resentful. So the thing is with forgiveness is that it's important to remember that we don't forgive other people for them, for their respect and their kindness. We forgive people for ourselves. This is universal. It doesn't matter what someone has done to you. And I know that could be controversial. You're thinking about all the terrible, harsh things that have happened in life, that have happened to you, that have happened to other people. And Kane, you're just sitting here telling us to forgive these people? Yeah, I absolutely am. I don't know your story. I don't know what has happened to you. And I'm sorry that maybe things have happened to you that are super, super harsh, but if you don't forgive people, if you don't forgive people that have done the harshest things to you in life, then you are going to hold on to that and you're not going to be able to get over it. And that's what forgiveness is all about. Not letting those people live rent-free in your head, letting go, moving on. It's about saying to yourself, like, I don't need that anymore. Whatever that person did to me, it doesn't matter in my life now. It's happened. It's in the past. I am forgiving that person and I'm forgiving myself and I am moving on. It doesn't matter to me anymore. Because when we hold on to those things, it builds that resentment that we talked about. It builds that poisonous emotion that's going to fill us up. And when we just let it go and drop it, no matter what it is, we just let it go and drop it and say, hey, listen, I don't need this anymore. This has no hold on me. It has no bearing on me. And I will move on. Start off small. Start off with perhaps you're in traffic and you're driving and someone cuts you off, and instead of flipping them off and honking the horn and yelling at the top of your lungs, maybe just say, hey, I forgive you for that mistake, man. You know, I hope you drive safely the rest of the day. And for me, it's all good. I'm moving on. Start off small like that, and then eventually you forgive like that, and you can get to those big things, those people that really did harm you, those people that did a number on you. That's what forgiveness is all about. And when we forgive, it feels so good inside. All right, and last but certainly not least, when it comes to building our inner game, at least the initial steps, we need to start integrating our shadows, or the things in life that are kind of kept in the back of our subconscious that we know about that we don't really want to admit are there. So for instance, you could be like me, who had an immense fear of rejection, who had an immense fear of not being good enough, of not being lovable. Well, how do you deal with that? You go out and you get rejected. You go out and get your heart broken, and you realize that things are going to be okay because you're going to love yourself and you're going to have that inner game built up the more that you go through these types of things. And that's just an example. Whatever your fear is, whatever that thing is, your shadow, those things in the back of your mind, those need to be brought to the surface and talked about. They could be things from your childhood, things that happened to you when you were young, traumas, anxieties, insecurities. These things need to be dealt with, because if they are just kept down inside, they get stronger, just like the resentment, and they start pulling and they start pushing and they start getting in there harsher and harsher and even stronger than the last time that they got in there. These things are built up over time of what life does to us, of what our parents have done to us, what our former lovers have done to us, what our friends have done to us, what bullies have done to us in school. These things can be vast and major, and it can be built up over years and years and years. And it's important to remember that it's not your fault. But what is your fault is if you don't deal with them and you let it run your life, then it does become your fault. Then that resentment that builds up, that fear that builds up, it does become your problem, and it does become your fault, because you can't be happy when you're holding these things in, when you're not dealing with these things. And so in order to deal with these things, therapy is honestly the best option that we can get to in order to really get this going. These things are so harsh. Some of these things are so ingrained that, yeah, we do need someone who's educated in the profession of the human mind, of human trauma, to really help us through this kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I've been doing it. I still do it. And I'll probably do it my whole life just to make sure that I'm in integrity with myself and that things are cleared up, things are clean. Don't be ashamed of this. I know amongst us guys, there's this thing that says, oh, we can't ask for help. Oh, we can't go for help. Oh, this and that. It's not true. It's not true at all. It is honestly the most alpha male thing to sit down across from someone, bear your emotions out, and deal with them and get through them. Because a true alpha doesn't let those emotions run his life. He knows what his issues are. He knows what his shadows are, and he's dealt with them because he's not going to let nothing run his life except for him. Now, gentlemen, if you need help getting started in dealing with trauma and anxieties and insecurities, I'll recommend you a couple books here by a man named Peter Levine. And the first one is called In an Unspoken Voice, How the Body Releases Trauma and Restores Goodness. And the second one is Healing Trauma, and it comes with a CD, and he guides you through it on a couple things and a couple of actions that you can do to really start releasing the trauma from your body and really start getting over those things. And I recommend them both. Gentlemen, do not sleep on building your inner game. These things can be tough, they can be harsh, but you gotta do it. You gotta get it done. That's how guys have grown over the years. That's how men have become men, by dealing with their stuff and not letting things go, not becoming tyrants and not becoming weak, meek men. Thanks for watching this week, gentlemen. If you enjoyed this video and it's your first time here and you haven't seen the first 2 episodes of Curve Your Beta, I'll have them linked right up here for your convenience. As well, I got a bunch of other fantastic videos that I think you should go down below and watch. And I'll be looking forward to seeing what you have to say about those videos in the comments section down below. Gentlemen, have a fantastic rest of your day, an even better week ahead. And of course, stay strong, stay proud, stay kind, and always, always, always stay handsome.